If there was a reasonable president in Nigeria, Nigerians couldn't have been poor or hungry. If Nigeria was lucky enough to have visionary leaders, good leaders, from 1960 she gained her independence to 2024, millions of you couldn't have been hungry today. If Nigeria was lucky enough, even if it is from 1999 to 2024, if to say una get responsible leaders, una know for the complaint today. But unfortunately, Nigeria is not lucky. Now red oil be this. Red oil could have pulled many of you out of poverty. Red oil could have pulled many of you out of hunger. But your leaders no get sense. They no get direction. They know they think. They now one-way traffic them be. Then they like cattle. Then they like goats. They don't think left or right. Now red oil na for be una savior. But what can I say? Your president, your current president is an agbero, a tout. How will he know that red oil can be converted into gold? That with red oil, many of you could have been millionaires and trillionaires. I will explain what red oil could have done in Nigeria if your president, if maybe he gets sense, but he no get any. Breaking news. World Bank is raising a serious alarm about Nigeria. Save the soul of Nigeria, according to them, because Nigeria is about to crash. Nigeria is capsizing. Nigeria is collapsing. And if something is not urgently done about the situation and condition of Nigeria now, you might not pick the pieces of Nigeria again. You might not pick one pin out of Nigeria. World Bank say, save Nigeria's soul. Over 129 million Nigerians, according to their reports, have been thrown into multidimensional poverty. I'll explain further. What they are trying to say is simple. From 2023 down to 2024, more 14 million Nigerians have crossed the poverty line. They saw themselves sitting pretty as poor people. That's your uncle. That's your auntie that ordinarily you know that my auntie is very comfortable. This my uncle can afford to send his children to school, from nursery school to primary school down to university. My uncle is well-to-do. My auntie is well-to-do. I want to tell you something about your uncle and your auntie. As of today in 2024, that your uncle that can't even be poor in 20 years' time is now a poor man in Nigeria. That your auntie is now a poor woman. Millions of Nigerians are sitting as poor people, unplanned, unintended, unintentional. They didn't even know that they are poor people now. Like, they are looking around. How can you say I'm poor? I'm poor? Like I'm poor? Yes, you are a poor man. You are poor. Have you checked your poverty status? Have you checked whether you are an average man, very poor, or you are about to enter IDP camp? Which of the status are you? Many people no longer know their status. Many of you in Nigeria don't know your status. Over 129 million people, and I can assure you, more than 160 million Nigerians are poor. This is estimate. Aggregately, when you start checking it the way it is. According to the Global Bank, increase in headline inflation has forced millions of Nigerians into hunger. Increase in headline inflation has caused millions of Nigeria into more poverty. This development means that official percentage of poor Nigerians jumped from 40.1% in 2018 to 56% in 2024. In 2018, 40.1% Nigerians are poor. We are poor. As of 2024, 56 million. They don't cross average. Have you checked your status? Have you checked your poverty status? When you start checking the numbers of people that might even be more poorer in Nigeria, hey, you might just realize that maybe it's not up to 10% of Nigerians that can afford 3 square meals in a day. The question is, who will save the soul of Nigeria? Is the soul of Nigeria savable? Can anyone save Nigeria at this moment? How can Nigeria be saved? And who will be the Messiah of Nigeria? It's getting tougher by the day. Tougher and tougher by the day. And it is still this same World Bank. We have warned them to stop giving Nigeria money. Stop borrowing Nigeria money. Nigeria is not doing anything with the money you are borrowing. They are only eating the money. They are looting the money. They are squandering the money. The money is not affecting the lives of people. The money cannot be seen anywhere. This money you are giving to Nigeria politicians can only be found in their pockets, in their safe tanks. No, they give them money where our children go pay. It is the same World Bank that said that Nigeria will need 15 years before they can recover from the economic policies of an Agbero. The World Bank said that for Nigeria to come out of this hunger, check how old you are. Add 15 years to the age where you did. World Bank, they are just, is a guesswork. 15 years might just be 40 years or 50 years. That means this Agbero, Nigeria president, this Agbero president will destroy your life for another 15 years. Another 20 years. 25 years, meaning that many of you will not even be alive to enjoy the thing. Because if you are, say, 60 years or 70 years, and Nigeria will need 40 years to come out of its present state of collapse, how are you going to enjoy Nigeria? And will hunger, even if you are not old, you are young, with what they are putting in place, like how they are seriously, like, hitting people hard. How the policies, they deal with Nigerians like when they flog them koboko. How person go get energy, even stay till that 15 to 20 years estimate. World Bank. Now still them, they say, these mumu people, where would they borrow money? We know say their country no go work. Oh. It will not work. 129 million people in poverty. You think it's a joke? I want to show you something. Now look up here. This is red oil. I know many of you are seeing it as a money agency oil for cooking soup. I will explain further what this red oil could have done in Nigeria. If you had good leaders with vision, this red oil could have pulled millions of you out of poverty and placed food on your table. You couldn't have been in this present state of hunger when you have all it takes to feed yourself and extend it to other countries. But you've got no leaders in Nigeria. Let me explain further. Nigeria produces over 1.4 million metric tons of palm oil, making them the 5th largest producers of palm oil in the world after Malaysia, Indonesia, Colombia, and Netherlands. Malaysia do export their own palm oil. Indonesia, they export their own palm oil. Colombia and Netherlands, the same thing. Ask Nigeria, where is your own exports? And why are you not utilizing your own palm oil the way Malaysia and Indonesia are utilizing their own oil? When you come to Africa, Nigeria is the highest producer of palm oil. But let me shock you. This country that produces palm oil is nowhere to be found when it comes to exports. Because Benin Republic and Cote d'Ivoire, they're top charts, while Nigeria is sitting at the back. This country called Nigeria, that is the 5th largest producer of palm oil in the world and the highest producer of the same palm oil in Africa, is nowhere to be found when it comes to exporting the oil they produce in their own father's land. Can you now fix the dots? Can you solve this puzzle? Are you not shocked? Are you not surprised? If other countries are making billions of dollars every month, annually, quarterly, or monthly, where is Nigeria, and why is Nigeria not utilizing their own natural resources? When it comes to general merchandise, South Africa is the highest in terms of production, exporting what they produce. Malaysia doesn't have palm oil before. The palm oil they are presently producing and exporting was gotten from Nigeria. They entered Nigeria and saw the need to take our red oil and take to their country because they know the benefit of it. They saw a flourishing business Nigerians are not seeing. We are not seeing. And today, they are highest in oil production, and exportation. Nigeria only concentrated on the crude oil they saw in 1956. The crude oil they discovered since many years ago by Shell. That is what everybody put eye on. Nigeria became stereotyped. The moment they discovered oil, everybody's talking oil, oil, oil. Forgetting that one day that oil will be obsolete. That oil will go out of, it will go out of market. nobody will talk about oil, nor even want to buy oil. Because the world is evolving and technology is evolving with it. Is it not Elon Musk that is building robots? Robots that might be serving food in restaurants, doing house chores and other things. Meaning that one day robots will replace human beings. That is technology evolving for you. Now Nigeria concentrated on oil. Left agriculture. Left everything. And took eye for crude. Crude. I have oil well. I have oil well. Malaysia took your oil. I have oil well. I like oil well. Indonesia is exporting oil. I get oil well. I get oil well. South Africa is producing and exporting while Nigeria is left behind. They're only stealing oil block and oil well. This only shows that other countries are seeing what Nigerians are not seeing. Other countries are benefiting from the natural resources Nigeria have, while her people wallows in poverty, pains, and penury. Benin Republic to export oil, red oil, while Nigeria is always giving excuse. This same crude oil that is making Nigeria to be lazy, Dubai also discovered their own crude oil. But instead of them to be stereotyped like Nigeria, they diversified. They went into infrastructural developments. They started beautifying Dubai. That is why Dubai is a destination for tourism. They did not carry all their egg and put in one basket. Hey, since we have discovered crude, let us concentrate on crude. Let us be doing only crude. They saw today coming. They knew that if they had put all their mind in crude, Dubai for no be Dubai today. Dubai for no be destination for tourism today. Because they had leaders. You have none. Today, that Malaysia that entered Nigeria to take our oil is now largest producer and exporter of palm oil. Producing billions of dollars, making billions of dollars every year, every month, every day, every second for their own country. Meanwhile, the country where they got the oil from has crippled. The country, they beg from one place to another. Borrow us money. We need money, borrow us money. That is what Nigeria is doing. If Nigeria had leaders, if Nigeria was not leadership starved, this red oil is pure gold. Nigeria could have been making billions of dollars from this red oil. Don't think this red oil is to cook only soup. Ofora, ofo onubu, ofo akwukwo nni, ofo ogbon, ofo egusi. No, my sister. It is not only for soup. Red oil can do a lot. You can use red oil to produce a lot of things. Red oil, you can use it to produce soap. You can use it to produce cream. You can use red oil to build roads. Do you know how many people rub cream in Nigeria? How many people rub cream in Africa, other African countries? How many people rub cream in the world? Now the countries where Malaysia, they export their red oil to. If Nigeria was capable enough, they could have been the largest producer of palm oil in the whole world. The long and short story of this whole thing is that Nigeria is not a productive country. That is why people are hungry. People are poor. People are starved. Nigeria is not producing nothing. When it comes to the highest consumers of red oil, palm oil in Africa, it is Nigeria. They are only good at consumption. Nigeria only consume, they don't produce. Listen to this, our brother, about the level of Nigeria glutonness. They only swallow, they don't produce.
Sincerely, we do not have any currency problem. What we have is the issue of unproductivity. We are not a productive nation, and we have refused to deliberately do simple things that will make this economy a very productive economy. You know, it breaks my heart every time we sit down to keep on discussing, oh, Naira is losing value. I read somewhere somebody was lamenting, oh, Naira is today trading at 1,705 to $1. And I asked him this simple question. Are you expecting the Naira to gain over the convertible currencies when we practically produce nothing and practically imports everything that we can easily produce here? I'll give you an example. Nigeria has no business importing over $11 billion worth of agro commodities, things we can easily produce here. Nigeria has no business importing $18 billion worth of white petroleum products and minerals that we can easily refine here. Most of the things we waste our scarce dollar resources on are things we can competitively produce here and export out of here. And for record purpose and for knowledge sake, the value of any local currency to the convertible currency is an interplay of demand and supply. First of demand and supply. When you're producing and exporting enough goods and services to earn dollar, when your supply side of the dollar is far more than the demand side, your local currency will gain massively. Countries like China practically devalue their currencies, game the system every time because they want to make their export more competitive because they are an export-oriented economy. If you go down history, between 1960 to 1970, even during the Civil War, the Naira was consistently stable against the US dollar and the pound sterling. In fact, the pounds, Nigerian pounds then was more stable. In fact, at a time, it was stable at 65 pence to $1. Even in 1968, it even gained 57 pence to $1. Because at that time, we had a productive economy. We had the Granite Pyramid of the North, the cotton, the textile. We had the cocoa of the West. In the East, we had the coal, the limestone and the clinkers, and the palm oil. As at 1965, Nigeria controlled 45% of the global palm oil market. Today, that market is $72 billion size. If we had maintained that trajectory, we would be exporting nothing less than $38 billion worth of the palm oil products. And the truth is, we pay much emphasis at the federal side without looking at the states and the others and the local government who are the subnationals. I sit down here and I look at Nigeria economy and I can if I have the time, I will dissect before you in 15 minutes things we can do sector by sector that within the next 1 year, the Naira will appreciate over $300 to $500 Naira to $1. Naira will be trading at 1,000 to $1. Okay. But the truth is, we as a country have collectively, both in the private and the public sector, refused to do the simple things. Nigeria is not an isolated country. We cannot reinvent the wheel. We need to sit down and ask ourselves, what are the things that worked for us in the 60s that are not working today? I'll give you an example.
Open my mic.
Domestically, the simple things, we are not doing it. We consume 7.5 million tons of rice at a mega rice per capita consumption of 32 kg, which is lower than what we have in Ghana, 124 kg. And at this rate, we produce only about 5.3 million tons. We can easily produce 8.1 million tons of rice within the next 1 year. And what do? Set up 4,000 clusters of agro upstream, rice upstream. 4,000 clusters of 300 hectares each, 1.2 million hectares. Cultivated, use the Geri species or even the C54 farrow. Set up cottage factories. 10 tons per cluster. 10 tons per cluster will take 125 million naira. 2.4 trillion naira investment, scientifically done, integrated manner between the states and local government areas, will give us 8.1 trillion naira. Why we sell rice at no more than 50,000 naira per 50 kg bag? There is no skyrocket science about this. Only that we have refused to do the simple things, and every time we keep on lamenting about Naira will always continue to depreciate until we do the right things.
You see this, our brother. These are the type of people you need in government. But sadly, Tinubu cannot call him because he has knowledge and wisdom. Tinubu does not like people that have knowledge. He likes people that think like him, act like him, reasons like him. That is why he chose Agberu and Tout to be working with him. Tinubu is an ordinary Agberu. He's a tax collector. How can a tax collector solve economic problem? Tinubu is not a capitalist, neither is he a socialist. How do you people expect him to solve the challenges of Nigeria? A tax collector, someone who doesn't have a business. Has he done any business in Nigeria to solve the problem of economic or hunger or hardship problem? More and more people will dive into poverty. Millions of people are still coming. If you are not poor yet, I don't know if I will tell you to hope and pray so that you don't join the queue. Because a lot of people, their status have changed. They are no longer average earners. They are now poor people, like very poor, very poor.